The earliest known human occupation in this area of New England was approximately 12 to 10,000 years ago when bands of hunters roamed across large territories. It was a small population and little is known about the culture and habits of these people. There have been sites found along the Neponset River, including in today's Norwood, that seem to have been visited on a seasonal basis some 5,000 years ago. Then people settled for a short time while they fished, hunted game including bear, white-tailed deer, elk, and smaller mammals, and various waterfowl. They made and used stone tools and weapons. Most of these sites were lost through Norwood's industrial and commercial development. Only fragments of their implements remain. Recent archaeological study has found the use of soapstone bowls and ceramic vessels dating to around 3,500 years ago. This meant that these people occupied certain locations periodically for longer periods of time. They built hearths and dug pits for roasting and storage. Some remnants of large circular lodges have even been found. By the time between 1200 and 600 years ago, as pine and oak forests began to dominate the area, this sort of seasonal settlement continued. While staying in this area, natives made stone tools, built lodges and fires for heat, light, and cooking. It was a good environment for such activities. There was plentiful hunting and trapping in the forests and swamps and fine fishing in the rivers and streams. And experts believe that there was even the beginning of spring and summer, planting of corn, beans, and squash. The first contact between these native people and European settlers was thought to be around 1512, about 500 years ago. Evidence exists of the stone tools made by natives being replaced with brass, copper, and iron tools in kettles which were brought by Europeans and exchanged for goods and food. About 100 years later, around 1650, a man named John Eliot tried to convert native people to Christianity. These people lived in what were called praying towns. The Ponkapog area of Canton was one of these towns. By 1674, it was home to about 12 families of Neponset Indians, as they were called, with a population of about 60 people. Among these people was one man whose name may be familiar to you. His name was William Nahatan. What does the name mean to you? His name was spelled many different ways. There are at least 23 different spellings of his name in colonial records. William Nahatan's father was an early convert to Christianity, and he moved his family to Ponkapog in the 1650s. Nahatan was educated at a school for praying Indians and became an important student of John Eliot's. He was bilingual, able to speak both in the native Massachusetts language and in English, had contacts among English colonists and the native people, and often helped negotiate disputes between the two groups. After King Philip's War, an early conflict between Native Americans and English settlers that took place around 1675, many colonists were afraid of all native people, even those who were Christians. We don't know what William Nahatan did during that conflict, but he remained in this vicinity after it was over and tried to protect the safety of the friendly Indians. Nahatan died around 1717. Many things were named after him: various parks, streets, fields, even social halls. In 1807, residents of West Dedham asked that Dedham build a new road from High Street to the location of a new meeting house. The road was built and named Nahatan Street. At a later date, the road was extended into today's Norwood. Some even believe that Westwood was originally to be called Nahatan, but the town Nahant objected, saying it would confuse people. When you travel along Nahatan Street, remember, there were people here long before European pioneers arrived. They had a civilization and culture all their own. We are always learning more about them.